What's going on, everyone? It's Friday. Christmas journals, comics, and pop culture. What is going on to everyone already in the chat? Thank you for hanging out on another Friday. Man, I had to come here a few minutes early this week at 4:15 instead of 4:30 because you guys just keep talking me up every week that we keep going into the comic book canon rehearsal time. So lots of awesome stuff to talk about today. Thank you guys for showing up. Dan, Isaac, Beechner, Peter. Who else we got in here? Yeah. And I see Isaac has his amazing Fantasy 15 as his thumbnail picture now. I noticed that the other day. That is so awesome. So guys, if you guys are just tuning in, either live right now or on the rewind and you aren't subscribed to the channel yet, please take some time to do so. Check out all the awesome links below, guys. Happy New Year 2021. This is my first live show, 2021. So I want to welcome everyone back, or welcome to anyone new. Linkovich, what's going on? D.O. P-Keel. P-Keel's lurking. So again, guys, I just want to say right off the bat, thank you so much to each and every one of you for an amazing 2020. 2020 was a crazy year for everyone, but ABZ. I really, took to this channel in this platform through it all, and it is what it is, and it was what it was because of all of you guys, and I am eternally grateful. Lisa, what is going on? Harley, Apple, what's going on, guys? Happy New Year to you all. So yeah, guys, I just want to, just say that big things for 2021. And again, it's all because of you all. You guys continue to motivate me and keep me, pushing forward to keep doing what I'm doing here on this channel. So lots of good things. Let's just do some rundowns. Link below, guys. If you haven't checked out my Patreon page yet, that link is below. See what you can do to become a patron at only $3.99 a month to support the channel. You get special patron-only videos. You get early access to videos, mostly spec and investment videos, a monthly Q&A video, and there's going to be patron-only contest. We are running our first contest at the end of the month, guys. So probably in the first week of February, I'll be doing the drawing for the winner of the first patron contest, guys. So good luck to everyone. If you guys want to be entered into that first prize drawing, which thanks to a friend of the channel, Dan, who's in the house, for donating this beautiful Tales to Astonish 8.0 white pages, 91. Guys, this isn't the only thing I'm giving away. I haven't shown off the books yet. I will be showing off more of the books probably once we get closer to the end of the month. But if you want to be entered into this contest, you have to become a patron by the end of the month. Okay, so January 31st. So you have some time to think it over if you're pondering it as an option. But again, I appreciate all of you, all my patrons currently. And like I've said before, I try to take all the earnings from Patreon, and they do hit you with fees. It's crazy how much the fees are. But after the fees, everything that I get back in earnings, I try to put back in my channel. The first month I purchased a video editing program, which I just started using, and I'm, learning the ropes and the ins and outs. For my last one, I bought a chair, guys. Now I know you're like, well, how does that benefit the channel? Well, guys, I'm not that young. I'm not. And this old chair that I sit in, I actually have a slip disc in my back, and sitting in this chair kills me. I'm in pain right now, but I push through it to be here with you guys every week. Louie, what's going on? So I got a chair. I need to build it. I need to put it together. So again, I want to say thank you to my patrons because my December earnings helped me attain that chair. So hopefully I'll put it up this weekend, and hopefully I'll be much more comfortable sitting out here doing videos and doing live streams with you guys as well. So again, all that information, the link is below. Journals, comics, and pop culture merch, guys. That link is below as well. I do plan on some more designs. I have a brand. that is, I'm not going to say anything about it. It's got a slogan. Oh man, I am excited about this. It mixes a little bit of, you know, my type of urban swag with geekery, total geekery. And I think you guys are going to really enjoy it. I can't wait to get into the design. So, you know, it might be a few more weeks before I really get to launching that, but look out for that, guys. But still, you guys can get the classic journals, comics, and pop culture tees and hoodies and whatnot on the store as well. That link is below as well. Let's see. Apple, I have my channel, Star Wars Empire Knights, with the Gotham Knights channel. Oh, nice. We got to do a live video. Yeah. You know, I got a few folks hitting me up about, you know, getting together for some live shows. I think I've said this before, guys. I'm obviously not opposed to it. I want to be involved in the community. It's just that I am really busy. So it's tough to work in. But as long as you guys communicate with me, shoot me an email, find me on Instagram, and we talk about getting something scheduled, you know, I'm definitely open to it. I always say it's about community. This is a two-way relationship with everyone involved, and I want to support all of the other content creators out there. With that being said, I always tell everyone, if there's other content creators in the chat, guys, please go give them a sub them up on YouTube, follow them on social media, Instagram, whatnot. Miguel Pool's in the house. What's going on? Shop, what's going on? All right, guys. So moving on to what else we got going on today. I got an unboxing, guys. We're going to be opening this up. We're going to see what this is. Nothing too crazy. All right. I do want to let you guys know I have a video coming this weekend. I got a KRS exclusive, guys. We're not going to open it today. It's going to be a video that I'm going to release either tomorrow or Sunday. So check that out. Super excited. You guys probably know I don't do much of this. I don't do much of this type of stuff, but I did with this one. So I'm excited about that. Also, guys, I'm going to talk about Midtown Comics today. All right. And you guys know me. I like to keep it positive, but I also like to hold businesses accountable for the sake of the community and collectors. And we're going to talk about that, guys. And we're also going to talk about opinion versus fact. And this is something that goes way beyond comic books, but it pertains to comic books, especially right now. So with that being said, guys, you know, let me get some water here. And let me know what you guys want to do first. Do you want to see the unboxing first? You want to talk about Midtown Comics first? Or do you want to talk about opinion versus fact first? I'll give everyone a minute to let me know what you guys think while I sip on my alkaline water. Water is so great, guys. I hope you all are staying hydrated, refreshed, taking your vitamins, vitamin D, vitamin C, zinc. You know what else is good? Elderberry extract. You guys want to know what I do real quick? Emergency packet that has loads of vitamin C and loads of vitamin Bs. Emergency packet with elderberry extract mixed in it once a day. Yep. And I take my vitamin A's and vitamin D's and whatnot. And you got to drink lots of water. Matt's in the house. Matt Woods. What's going on, Matt? Mark. Unboxing. Oh, you just bought from Midtown, huh? Justin. All right, we got opinion Midtown. Ooh, we got a lot of unboxing in Midtowns. Oh my gosh. Let's see. Once a day for men. There you go, Beach Nerd. That gets it done. That gets it done. Dealer's choice, you decide. Gold Gauntlet, what's going on? Moses says Midtown. All right, guys, I'll tell you what. I think it's kind of a even between unboxing and Midtown. Let's go ahead and do this first. It's just one comment, guys. And because I think the Midtown topic is going to be a little more in-depth, let's just get this over with. It's only going to take a few minutes. Got some tape there to open up with my knife. All right, guys. Let's see. Now, this was from Mercari app. I thought I got a really decent deal. It is in a really nasty old bag, an old polyethylene bag, but that's okay. I can just tell that it's old and it's been in here for a while. Let's pop it out before I show you guys. All right. All right, guys. This is a Silver Age book. Yes. Not a huge key or anything, just a nice Silver Age book. And it's a run that I've really been working on. It's in really nice, presentable condition. And guys, it is Thor number 131. Look at that. Really pretty looking book. Higher mid-grade. It's got a chip corner down there where it's missing a little bit, but it could definitely get a press and clean. I see some little bit of dinge. That's definitely, I'm going to get a nice clean on this. Really nice presentable book. This is just a nice 12 center Silver Age that is filling around in my collection. I got this book for $10. I don't even know if there was shipping. If there was shipping, it was only a couple dollars. So I thought that was really affordable for this condition, man. I mean, let's look it over. Back looks decent. We got we got a little bit of rip. We got about a half rip. Those affect grade. We got some dinge. No huge color breaking ticks on the cover though. Definitely got some spine stress and a decent amount of color breaking ticks, but nothing too extreme. The pages are great, kind of off-white looking pages, staples throughout the book. Let's go to the centerfold, make sure it's all connected. Yep, nice healthy staples. Definitely off-white pages, but very healthy. They're not brittle at all. I'm going to grade this book amazing looking 4.0. And the reason why I give it a 4.0, guys, and not higher, is because all right, guys, we're back. I do apologize about that. It's good, not a good look. I really got to get AT&T out here to deal with this. It's something that I've been dealing with for a long time, but I apologize for that interruption. Hopefully we are back up and running. I see the chat coming in. The lighting's going to be a little off because I had to move my camera. I hope you guys don't mind. I'm going to move my chair a little bit too, but we're still going to have fun. We're still going to get through this. But all I was saying, I was talking about the grade. I give this book a nice 4.0 because of the rip. If it didn't have the little half centimeter rip on the back, I'd probably give it a 5.0. I am going to press it up. Hopefully it might change my mind. We might get it bumped up with the press and the cleaning. But yeah, just awesome book. Thor 131, guys. Really happy to add this to my collection. Jake Bing, what's going on? All right, guys. So we got through that. We got through the internet interruption, and we're back here. So next up, guys, let's talk about Midtown. I see something. Midtown are DDoSing. I know, right? They were like, uh-oh, he's about to go off. All right, guys, let's talk about Midtown. Show of hands, how many people have used Midtown? I want to hear you guys. I want to hear some comments. I'm going to read some comments about your guys's. If you use Midtown, what have you bought from Midtown? Do you get weekly releases from Midtown? Have you just hit up their sales? Now, when I talk about Midtown, I'm talking specifically about midtown.com. Now, their stores, I've never been in, and I'm not saying anything bad about their stores and the management within their stores and how they run their stores, okay? The entity that I'm speaking of is specifically midtown.com. Now, for those that don't know, Midtown also, I mean, they have a large online store, right? You could do previews orders from Midtown, which I did for years, where you get the 35% off, great deal. They have amazing sales. They have lots of sales online. And I started using Midtown in 2012. All right. And I mean, of course, I would buy books on eBay and whatnot, but I use Midtown for my weekly releases for the most part, and started using them for previews. And I always hit up their sales, guys. I was a loyal Midtown customer for years. All right. Midtown also handles Marvel's mail print subscription and DC's mail print subscription. All right. I have had DC print subscriptions in the past, and I currently have 3 Marvel print subscriptions. All right. They also have a distribution channel now for DC, right? Because DC broke off from Diamond, and one of their distributors now is Midtown. And just for context, guys, I'm not mad at the DC decision to break off from Diamond. That's a whole other conversation. Okay. Miguel goes to Midtown every week. It is his LCS. Awesome. Okay. Linkovich has ordered a few times from Midtown. Mark H says he just did his previews from Midtown, if I'm reading that right. Let's see. Yeah. So, okay. So a lot of people have a lot of experience in it. And I don't know if you guys have good experience or negative experience, but here's where I'm at with Midtown, guys. I'm going to just kind of shed light on something. And again, I always say this stuff where I don't want to blackball. You guys know I talk about my issues with Key Comic Collectors app, Key Collector Comics app, right? But my issue with Key Collector Comics app is that I want them to fix issues because I want them to have success. I'm almost past that point with Midtown to where I am almost calling for a boycott. All right. But I will say, you guys do what you feel is right for you and your collecting. Let me take a sip. Here's where I have issues with Midtown. And I don't want to be a disgruntled customer talking about Midtown. I'm speaking about Midtown as a businessman that understands the relationship between consumer and business entity. All right. So that's what I want you guys to take from this. All right. Now, for years, I really had no problems with Midtown. I never had real problems with their shipping. I did have problems with getting books that had like black soot dinge on them. And they didn't really address that. They're like, oh yeah, we know about that. But I never really like threw a fit about it. I never really like did anything about it. So that was there. But one thing that I noticed for a long time is that when you would call them and talk to them, I didn't feel like they wanted to talk to you. I didn't feel like I was getting a friendly welcome. I always felt like it was either, oh, I'm trying to get out of here, I'm trying to go home, or can we end this call, or I don't even want to deal with answering your questions. That's what I've gotten from them for many years. But I didn't really pay that any mind because I would go on the website, I would order my books, and I would get my books, and I'd get good deals, and I'd be good, right? Just want to say what's up to a few folks. Funky Sloth, Artist, ATMD. What's going on, guys? All right, so Bruvy, what's going on? All right, yeah, mostly no issues. So this was my experience for many years. And then let's start getting into 2019. Obviously, this is before COVID and all this. So what started happening in 2019 is my subscription orders started getting more backed up and completely lost, right? One thing that they did, this started back in 2018. I had a subscription order to Peter Parker Spectacular Spider-Man. My orders are set on auto renewal. So you pay the $20-something for the year, right? And when that year is up, it automatically renews. Well, Peter Parker Spectacular Spider-Man, I did a renewal. It renewed, and there was only like one more issue, and then that title was canceled. They never contacted me to say, do you want to switch over to a new title with your credit, or do you want to be refunded the money that you paid? They never let me know. So I went over a year with 11 issues of a title being owed to me without them saying something. And the only reason why I caught it is because I went on line and looked at my account and realized, oh yeah, look, I still have 11 issues of this, and the title was canceled and they charged me for it. So I did call them and said, okay, look, what's going on with this? They're like, well, do you want to pick another title? I said, okay, yeah, give me 11 issues of Captain America. Okay, I started getting my Captain America. So ultimately it was resolved, but that's an issue. That should not happen. What happened there, okay? Another thing that's been happening with my Marvel subscriptions is this. One thing, and this is just the business model, and it's you know, I never had an issue with it before. I was patient. Do you know that after the release date of an issue, it could take 2 months for that issue to get to your house? 2 months. 2 months. Right? I was like, whatever, it's fine. At least I get them. I get them at 45% off cover price, right? It was worth it for me. I don't even complain that they come in a flimsy bag with a flimsy little, not even a thick board, and they get kind of beat up in the mail. I want to read them. I get 45% off. I'm good with that. But not only were they started taking longer than that 2 months. And not only were they taking longer than the 2 months, they wouldn't come. So I ultimately had issues. I got like issue Spider-Man, issue number 33, and then I got issue 35, but I didn't get issue 34. And they're like, well, we sent out 34. And then, well, we'll send it out again. And then I never get that. And they said, well, we can't send it out again for you because it says that we sent it out. And they weren't willing to give me a credit or anything because they had already sent it out again. I'm like, are you kidding me? I never, and they try to blame it on the post office, whatnot. And I'm like, look, I know the post office has issues sometimes, but this is something that's happened more than once with your guys' system, right? So that started happening a lot, and it's still happening. It just happened again, and I made a phone call this week to them. We'll get into that in a minute. Now, let's move on to my previews orders, guys. Here's some negative things about the previews orders that I noticed. You could go into a month's previews order, and first off, over the last couple of years, their base shipping went from $3.99 to $5.99. So their shipping started to increase, right? And look, $3.99, you know, for one of their boxes that was, you know, like thicker than this. That's decent. So I'm not really complaining that it went from $3.99. It went from like $3.99 to $4.99, then to $5.99. Okay, it's still reasonable, right? But what I started noticing is this, guys. When I would do a previews order, I would get a shipping that was $8.99 or like $11.99 for 1 month. And I'm like, why? And I would call them and they wouldn't be able to tell me why. They would say, well, that's because the books that you ordered have different release dates and they're not within the same time period. And I'm like, what does that mean? Can you explain that further? And they're like, you just got to understand that they're in different time periods. And I was like, okay, whatever. But then I would still get all the books in the same shipment. It made no sense. And I started seeing that they would never give me context to the questions that I started asking. Okay. Weird, right? Another thing that started happening as well. All right. Now, this is where I really started having a huge issue. COVID happened. I get that, right? Diamond shut down. That put delays on comic books. This was not Midtown's fault whatsoever. Not their fault. They had nothing to do with this. So I ordered my previews orders. You order for what? 3 months in advance, right? So I put orders in like January, February, and March for books that were coming out like that summer when Diamond was shut down. But get this, guys. What's the date today? January 8th, 2021. I still have not received books that I ordered in February of 2020. I haven't received my money back. I haven't been told they've been canceled and I gotten my money back. And I haven't received the books. And when I call them, they can't give me a specific answer to why. They say it's up to the publishers. We don't have the books in yet. Now get this. This was the icing on the cake for me. I do my previews orders and use PayPal to pay for my orders every month with Midtown. All right, every month. I also add a couple of older credit cards on my account. because of COVID and because of the delays and because of Diamond shutting down from around, you know, when they shut down, what was like May. So from around May to, you know, the fall, I had about 40 something dollars in canceled books. And guess what? I never received the money. You know what they did? They refunded the money to an expired credit card that was on my account. How do you refund money to an expired credit card? And this is what they told me, guys. They told me this. We can't, if there's, even if you use PayPal, if there's a refund, we can't refund it to PayPal. We have to refund it to a credit card. But you know what's funny? I actually, when I took the old credit card off of my account and I had 2 more cancellations, guess what they refunded? My PayPal. So them telling me that is BS. And I know this for a fact because I know how the banking systems work within business. Businesses have to push the refund through the original payment method. And there is no reason that you can't do that with PayPal. And they prove that because they pushed the last 2 to PayPal when I took that old card off. I never used that card for my previous orders. But they decided to manually just see that there's a card there and try to put the refunds in to that card. Almost $50 worth of stuff. I have still not received that money. You know what and then when I told them I'm going to open a PayPal claim against them, you know what they said to me? Because I'm still waiting on previous orders that I haven't received from last year, from almost a year ago. You know what they said to me? And I have email proof of this. And I was going to bring this up and show it on screen, guys, but too much of my personal information is on there, so I'm not doing it. Like you know, street address and personal. So I didn't feel comfortable doing it. But they basically threatened me. They said, if you open up a PayPal claim, that'll get in the way of you receiving the books that you have on order. Why? I'm not opening up a PayPal claim for those. I'm opening up a PayPal claim for different orders. I took that as a threat. So I went back and I asked them, I said, look, I would be happy for store credit. Just give me store credit and what you owed and we'll be good. They completely ignored my request. They didn't even tell me no. They ignored it. Flat out ignored it. All right. Yeah. Artists recording their phone calls. I even asked them if they do poll calls, but they're like, I don't know. Now, here's the issue. This is the issue that I have with their business model. This is the business model issue, guys. First off, they won't call you. They refuse to call their customers. All right. And half the time when you call them, it's hard to talk to somebody. And if you ask for a supervisor, they're always in a meeting. And get this, I'm on the West Coast. Their offices close at 1 o'clock. That's really hard for people that work during the week to get a hold of somebody. You know what else was another issue? They would literally I would say, I didn't receive my books, or you guys double charge me, whatever the case. I would email them. They wouldn't email back for weeks. Now they did say, oh, we changed our email system. And I will give them credit. They've been on top of their emails a lot better lately over the last couple of months. But I would go literal weeks without getting a reply from them to address an issue. And every time I answer a question in email, they respond with like they're talking circles around you. Now, I called them this week, all right, because I received issue 52 of Amazing Spider-Man, and I received issue 54 of Amazing Spider-Man, but I didn't receive issue 53. Now, I'm not going to bring this on screen, guys, because it has personal information, but I'm going to look at it and I'm going to tell you guys, when you go into the website for your print, and remember, this is print subscription, all right, it shows you each book that's on order, and when it's processed and released and when it's shipped. The first thing that's an issue is multiple comic book issues are missing. It says Amazing Spider-Man 58, 57, but then it skips to 54, and then it skips to 50. Then it skips to 48, 47, then 44. So I don't even have documentation of all their books. This is a system issue. Whoever is in charge of this database and entering this data into the system for their customers is dropping the ball. But here's another issue, guys. When you click on each title, all right, now listen closely here. It breaks it down in two things, in two ways. It says shipments in process, and then it says title shipped, right? And get this, I have books that I haven't received that are under the title shipped. And then I have books that I have received that's under the shipments in process. Now get this, guys. I asked the guy on the phone, what does that mean? You know what he said to me? I don't know. And I said, okay, can I speak to a supervisor? And he said, I can't guarantee that. They're in a meeting right now. I said, okay, can you leave a note for your supervisor to call me back? I can't do that. I can't guarantee that. I said, can you look into this? Maybe you talk to your supervisor. You know my information. You have my account pulled up. Can you call me back when you get this information? I can't do that. And I told this guy, I said, look, man, I know you're trying to help me, and maybe this isn't you, but if it's not you, it's a reflection of the business that you work for. This business model is a joke. And that's why I'm here today talking about it. And you know what? I asked him, I said, who is your supervisor? He did tell me, he said, Dan. And Dan's the one that like talks circles around me, refused to acknowledge store credit, refused to acknowledge that what they did with not crediting my payment method, PayPal, he refused to acknowledge that is wrong. I still cannot get Dan on the phone. Dan refuses to call me. Everyone refuses to call me back. And I don't know who Dan's supervisor is. I know Dan has a supervisor. So it's a mystery, and I'm really good. I play lawyer, guys. I play lawyer, and I can't penetrate this company. They have no information on their website. I can't get to the higher ups to say the way you guys are running your business is flawed, and it's going to come back to bite you. Now, check this out. Here's the thing, because I saw a lot of people saying, I've never had an issue with Midtown. Thank goodness you've never had an issue. Because look, if you're not having an issue with their shipping and you're not having books that are canceled, and I get it, you have no reason to complain, but be grateful that you haven't had an issue. Because in my experience, if you have one issue, that issue is going to give you gray hairs trying to solve. It's going to be pulling teeth. So, look, my thing here coming in and expressing this with the community is this, guys. I need the community's help. I don't know if anybody has any ins with Midtown, but if there are any direct lines or any contact information with supervisors or even the supervisors of the supervisors, the executives, anything, I would like anybody to help me out, get that information so I can go to the right people and say, look, I don't want to be a Midtown hater. I don't. I am about business. I'm a businessman. I'm about healthy competition. I'm about businesses succeeding, but I'm also about businesses having a proper business model and a business culture that represents whose intent is to represent the best interest of their consumer base. And they're not doing this. And I said this to the guy on the phone, even Rome fell. Yeah, Midtown is a big entity right now. They have 3 brick and mortar locations. They're handling print subscriptions for the 2 biggest publishers out there with Marvel and DC. And they're handling distribution for DC, which, like I said, it's a whole nother conversation. I am happy that DC broke away from Diamond. So I don't want Diamond to fail and force DC to be in a situation that affects distribution. But this is a problem. And I'm going to tell you what, I'm just one tadpole in the pond, right? But I took my business over to my comic shop. And let me tell you about culture. I'm going to tell you this. My comic shop gives me the same deal with my previews, except flat rate $5 shipping, right? But ultimately, take that out of the equation. I'm getting the same books at the same price. But my comic shop's culture is amazing. You call them, you get somebody on the phone whose energy is right there with you, who's ecstatic to help you and answer all of your questions. You send them an email, they email you right back. They understand the customer experience and customer service. I will never switch back to Midtown with my previews because of how my comic shop handles business. Now get this. I'm about to cancel all my Marvel print subscriptions that I get 45% off of and get those in my previews orders with my comic shop at 35% off. I'm willing at this point to spend more money to get my books from my comic shop so I just don't have to deal with Midtown ever again. Now, guy, Louis says it's all about LCSs. I'm gonna talk about that. First off, here's the thing. One, the bulk of my collecting is back issues. I spend more money at my LCSs than I do anywhere. So I want to get that straight. And I support more than one LCS. I do. But I don't have an LCS that gives me 35% off or 45% off of new issues. And I'm sorry. Look, I'm not wealthy. I was a struggling student in most recent years where, you know, my comic book buying was mostly 50-cent and dollar bin finds. You know, thankfully I graduated college, you know, and I'm working and earning money right now. And thank you for you guys for being here on this channel. That's helping support me as well. But the bottom line is this. I support my LCSs more than anyone else because the bulk of my buys are back issues. But if I could get my books, my new books at 35% off, I'm going to do that. But guess what? My comic shop is an LCS as well. You know, they grown, you know? So I just had to make that clear. Yeah, Dan, my comic shop's been a trusted source for decades. Absolutely. Yeah, Lone Star, P Keel. I think P Keel says that was your LCS, Lone Star. Mitlab, what's going on? Yeah, I don't look. Artist says you could get your previews ordered through your LCS. I am not aware of a comic book shop where I live that can get me my new issues at 35% off. All right. So, but the bottom line here, look, guys, I support my LCSs. I do. Okay. It's kind of like a straw man argument, right? To say, well, it's all about the LC. No, look, it's all about holding businesses accountable, right? It's the same argument like, why do you talk about Key Collector Comic app? Just use another app. I do. But still, I care about the community as a whole. And any business that has a foothold in the community, I want to hold them accountable, right? Same with this. Whether I use Midtown again or not, it's about principle to me. I am a man of principle. I don't care if I never give Midtown $1 of my money ever again. I can't be okay with knowing that their business model is what it is right now. I cannot be okay with that. It's the principle. So that's why I'm reaching out to the community to help me out, to say if there's any information or contact information that you guys can help me fight a good fight for the betterment of this community. I would appreciate that, because right now I do believe that Midtown needs to be held accountable. They've gotten too big for their britches, in my opinion. They need to revamp their business model. Let me tell you guys something. T-Mobile was a culprit of having the worst. They had like and I know because I was a T-Mobile customer for years. They had the worst customer service. It was horrible. That came back to hurt them. They got bought out. They got a new CEO, and they changed their business model. And guess what, guys? I will never switch. I will never, at this point, I will never switch from T-Mobile. Their customer, what they do now when you call, no matter what time you call, you get set up with a local advisor. So I always talk to somebody in Sacramento every time. So they changed their business model because they know when you put the resources into building your business model up, it may, it may take more revenue, it may take more capital, it may take more time and more effort and more money, but it's going to pay off in the end because we are living in a culture right now where the consumer demands the power. We're not living in the 40s anymore where we see a billboard of, the suburban American way, and we're programmed to believe that this is how we should consume, right? We the consumer in this day and age are more conscious of our purchasing power. And when that happens, the businesses understand. It's like businesses going green, or like Walmart carrying more organic food. Do you think businesses are going green because they have a conscience? Do you think Walmart's carrying more organic food because they care about eating better, or no. Now, I'm not saying they don't completely, but that's not why they're doing it. You want to know why they're doing it? Because they know that that's what the market is demanding, right? When the market demands something different, they have to adapt. And that's what's happening across a lot of big corporations right now. You see the change in McDonald's. You see the change in Walmart, even in their hourly pay and their lack of quality of life and giving health care and stuff like that, because the employees are saying, I'm leaving here. I'm going to go work for Starbucks, get paid more than minimum wage, get my college paid for, and get full benefits at working 20 hours a week. It's the same thing in any industry. It's the same thing for Midtown. It's going to come back and bite them in the ass. We, the consumer, have to demand a business model and a culture that, yes, speaks to us, but then will allow that business to prosper. Because no longer do we live in a day and age where they can force feed us a product to make money off of us, to capitalize off of us as blind consumers. So, that's my point. That's my point today, guys. I want Midtown to evolve. I want them to understand that there are flaws in their culture and in their customer service platform and customer service skills in their overall customer service department. It is flawed. It is a problem, and we need to hold them accountable, because I want them to change it, because it's going to better them. They lost my business, and I guarantee I'm not the only one. But if they change things, that can be turned around for the good for them in the future. So that's what I'm going to say about Midtown, guys. We got a little more time left today, and I do want to talk about the one other subject before we head out of here. I'm going to take a breather for a minute, drink some water, and hey, for all those watching that aren't subscribed to the channel yet, again, guys, please take some time to do so. And remember, we are just about 1 hour away from the Comic Book Canon show. Our Comic Book Canon link is below as well, guys. Please, if you aren't, sub us over there, guys. Come out, hang out with us tonight, and check the show. We have an awesome show. Again, let me get some water. Woo! All right. So good, so good. I'm going to read through some of your guys' comments. Beach nurses, take a breath, hydrate. Yes, yes, yes. Woo! All right, all right. Jonah, what's going on, Jonah? I know there was a lot of talk in here, so I'm glad that you guys are talking it up, mingling up. Let's see. Candizius says, I support my 3 local shops. Yeah, I have a good. All right, a little bit of an interruption there, guys. I apologize again. We're back though, but yeah, that's all I'm saying. A1 Comics, Comic Command Center, and of course the shop that I've only been to a couple times this year because of COVID, but that's Boys of Summer, where I love to raid their 50-cent bins. But there's a bunch of others. There's World's Best Comics in Sacramento. You know, so I got a lot of shops that I support for sure. All right, guys. Before we wrap up today, I do want to still address a little bit about this issue of opinion versus fact. And I bring this up because it is relative to the key collector comics conversation that I had this last week and that I did the video on with them, calling annual 14 of X-Men as the first full appearance of Gambit, and calling basically Uncanny 266 the second appearance without any other context. Guys, here's the thing. You know, when I think most of the comments on that video, and there were a lot, were decently humble. You know, a lot of people disagree with me, but a lot of people disagree with me and we're still humble about it. Bearded One, what's going on? But you know, there's those people still that like, this is what how I want to present this. And I want to encourage you all to really listen to this, guys, and really take this out into life with you. This isn't just about comics here, but let's talk about this. We live in a very polarized world right now. And we live in a world where we are fed instantaneous information. We have our smartphones at the tip of our fingers, computers, laptops, social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Our information instantaneously. And I call this age of information truly the age of misinformation, because we have forgotten how to think for ourselves. We see something in a meme, we see something on Facebook or Instagram, and we're scrolling, and we see it and we believe it. We don't even second guess it. And we more so believe it when we feel that it fits our narrative, right? Now, I'm going to bring politics into this for a minute just to give you guys an example. I'm not leaning to one political argument here or not. I'm just going to use this as an example for all of us. Now, we know that there's people that have more what you call conservative ideals and then people that have more liberal ideals, right? So I'm going to show how both sides can fall victim to this, right? All right. I got to get calls for, you know, the end of the Bill of Rights or something, right? Something crazy, right? That's not true, but it's in a meme. People that probably dislike Donald Trump are going to see that and most likely believe it without questioning it. On the flip side, I could be going through and say, Joe Biden found guilty of, basically trying to I don't know, do something criminal that should land him in jail or something like that, right? Anybody who maybe is a Trump supporter, is a Republican, or doesn't like Democrats or Joe Biden will probably believe that without even second guessing it. And you know what happens in both of those scenarios? We share it. And then we share it and people see it and they share it and they share it and they share it. And so what we have now is preconceived biases and beliefs of unfactual information that we simply believe just because it's comforting to our belief system, right? It's like we can't think like this, guys. We can't. Like, even if there's nothing wrong with being liberal, there's nothing wrong with being conservative. But you can't believe something that's talking down on a liberal if you're conservative without doing your research to believe it's true. You can't believe something that's talking down about a conservative just because you're a liberal and not do your research and just believe it's true without knowing it's true. The same thing is in comic books, and that's why I bring this up. Just because for some reason you don't like the term cameo and you think it should have never been used, and I don't care if what anybody else calls it, this is a full appearance and you're wrong. That's not true. Your opinion is that you don't want it to be a cameo, that you want to call it a full appearance, and that's okay. Your opinion isn't wrong because you want that, but just because you want something to be true doesn't mean that it's true. Opinion versus fact. So it's one thing when we as collectors are strong-headed about this, right? It's another thing when a business like Key Collector takes that approach, because now they're that person. They're not only the person sharing the misinformation on the meme, they're the ones creating it and producing it. That is not okay. All right. So I had to clarify that because I was going through all these comments, guys. Do your research before shoving your opinion down somebody's throat as if it was fact. With the cameo and the label situation, there is a textbook definition of cameo that so many people that support the annual 14 as a full, so many people that support that, one, don't understand the real definition of cameo. Because one example is they say, well, the cameo by textbook definition means it's somebody that's an established character. That's not true in literature. It's not true in literature. That only applies to film and the art medium of live actors. Okay? The literature definition of cameo is completely different by the 200 and something old Merriam-Webster definition. Go do your research. All right. Another thing that your opinion doesn't change. It doesn't change precedent. And again, I'm going to reiterate this. What does precedent mean? Precedent is something that's been set. And once it's set, everyone follows. Right? So that's like creating the word purple. This is a purple shirt. Not because I want it to be purple, but because everyone that came before me told me it's purple, right? I could say, I don't want this shirt to be called purple. I don't like that. I think it should be called something else. Fine. It's still purple. So that's my take on this, guys. I don't want to go too much down into this whole cameo versus full appearance thing, but I really wanted to stress the fact that, guys, I want people to have their own opinions. I do. And I also want you to have your own opinion. And even say you think that your opinion should be fact, that's cool too. And if you want to fight to change what's currently fact, say for a label, if you think that the label that is fact right now shouldn't be, and you want to say that your opinion is that I think this label should be fact, and you want to, change things, you can try. But there's a way of doing that. There's a process of doing that. Just like changing law. If you believe abortion is bad, do you run out your house and say, abortion is wrong, it's illegal, it's against God's, whatever your argument may be, right? That's not going to change anything. It's your opinion. You have to take it to the courts. You have to take it to the infrastructure that can actually make change within the legality of the system. It's the same for terms in the comic book industry. if we don't, I don't, and here's another thing. Here's another thing that I learned in school because I took argumentation. All right. I took debate classes. I studied argumentation. Here's something that I learned, guys. We would go into an argument and we would have, I bring up abortion because we did abortion. We know that abortion is a very touchy subject. We did death penalty. We did abortion. We know that people that agree with abortion and agree with death penalty and those that disagree with those have very strong beliefs no matter what side they fall on, right? Very strong. So when we're like, okay, you guys have to argue abortion or you guys have to argue death penalty, I'm like, oh yeah, this is what I believe in those things and I'm going to argue it. And you know what they would say? They would say, okay, what do you believe? Are you for or you're against? Oh, I'm for this or I'm against this. They'd say, okay, argue the opposite. Argue the opposite. You have to argue the opposite of what you believe. And you're like, oh, wow, what? So say like you're anti-death penalty and now you're thinking that you had to, oh yeah, I'm I can argue against death. And they're like, nope, you got to argue for it. Oh crap, how am I going to do that? Guess what? Every debate that I did where I had to argue against my own personal beliefs, I won. And the main reason why that is, maybe, look, I don't mean to toot my own horn, but maybe it's because I'm good at debate, sure. But it's because it is detrimental to the human core to always see from both sides. All right? You can't, to be able to argue against what you believe in turn can actually help you argue in what you do believe in when that time comes. Because when you know your enemy, you're more prepared for battle, right? So again, you're like, how does this relate to what we're talking about? Because guess what, guys? I don't like the word cameo. I don't like it in the comic book industry. I hate it. I really do. I hate it. But guess what? Just because I hate it doesn't mean I'm going to sit here with the wool over my eyes and act like me saying Annual 14 isn't a cameo is going to change fact. So guess what? That's why I should have studied. Well, I did study law, but that's why I probably should have been a lawyer. I don't care. Look, I don't care if I like it or not. I'm going to defend the law, right? And that's what it boils down for me when it comes to these labels. That's why it's funny when people try to argue in favor of, saying, oh, these aren't cameos. And I laugh at them because, like, look, I ultimately agree that the cameo term sucks. But guess what? You're wrong. Because that's merely your opinion and not fact. So, with that being said, guys, I'm going to take one more sip of water. I'm going to see if you guys have any comments because we got to wrap it up here. Oh, man. Woo. That was good stuff. Raven. All right, guys. Hey, look, I appreciate you guys. I know I had topics today that kind of took me away from kind of like the Q&A and me really going through all the comments, but it was a lot on my chest. I appreciate you guys being here and listening and allowing me to kind of go off and dive deep into these topics. I really, really appreciate you guys. The Art of War, Myth Lab, absolutely. I read that book twice. Probably read it more times throughout my life as well. Absolutely. It's used for business and transactions. Absolutely. Dan says, I'm always fair in a debate, even when the other person isn't fair, but I'm with you, Chris. I do my homework and know my info. Right. Absolutely. And that's another thing that I didn't talk about today, guys, that maybe we'll talk about at a future date. There are proper ways to do research and to cite credible sources and to sift through credible source. Like the question is like, how do you know a source is credible? I would like to talk about that one day with you guys. How do you verify a credible source? That would be a great talking point that, again, relates to comic books, but is much bigger than comics, right? Swag loss. I saw something about Angel. Yeah, we talked about that before too with the Archangel stuff. That's been kind of a controversial issue. Bearded One says, I came for the rant. I truly appreciate you guys. You guys humble me for sure. ABZ, what did you pick up in earlier this week, Chris? So ABZ, I'm going to be showing off some books that I picked up and read on the canon today. I did get caught up on my Venom reading as well, and I'm enjoying that. But I got some books to show off on the canon about what I picked up this week for sure. I showed off the Thor. I picked up that Thor that I unboxed earlier, and really happy with that book. Candesius. Now, so Candesius says something about, using like sneak appearance. I also like brief, and we know that Overstreet uses brief, minor, full, minor, brief, cameo, sneak peek. All these things can be used, right? And we can voice our opinions for saying, I think we might want to change this to this, and we get a consensus going. But until then, it is what it is, whether we like it or not, right? Let's see what else we got. Rush. Saw a comment from Rush. Let's see. Fresh from the comic shop. Yeah, I got some good stuff to show off today, for sure. All right. Do you consider production defects to go against grade? Hey, PQ, are you the one that kind of asked a question about that in the comments? Somebody asked something about that. I think it might have been you. So that's something that's definitely worth talking about. That's a situation where they really don't, for the most part. If you look at industry standard too, and how, say, CGC looks at that. So yeah. Production defects usually are seen as such, and they do not go against grade. All right, guys, I'm about to head out of here. Let's look at a couple more comments, though. Chris, if you get a chance, check out the Book of 5 Rings. Okay. Japanese point of view. MythLab, thank you. Vinny, thank you so much. I will check that out. I'm about to, where's my phone? I lost my phone, but I'm going to get into that, guys. So, all right, guys, I'm going to end it here. Man, thank you for sticking with me. I know we had a couple of internet connection issues. I had to ship my computer, but thank you guys so much for showing up today. All you guys, man, again, guys, we have 43 minutes until the Comic Book Canon show. I hope to see all of you guys over there. Again, if you haven't checked out the Patron and you want to help continue to support the channel, check out the link below. Official Journos Comics merch, and all the channel affiliates below as well. Thank you guys for hanging out with me for another awesome Friday night. I'm going to go meet up with my partner and co-host, Jeff, and I hope to see all of you guys in 43 minutes. MythLab, Pete Keel, Bearded, Peter, Razmeen, thanks for hanging out. Beechner, thank you guys so much, and I will see you all over at the Canon. Peace.